Okay, welcome everybody. I just want to share a quick thought, and we'll get the show started. According to many Rishonim, there's a mitzvah of Zechiras Maimed Har Sinai. Now it's Machlekes Rishonim exactly if it's a mitzvah, an essay, a leis essay, and that's a technical Machlekes in Hilchas Minyan HaMitzvahs. You know what gets included, what doesn't get included. But in what the Yesod of the mitzvah of Zechiras Maimed Har Sinai is, so this is something that many Sfarim say, and I just want to share it with the story. In the interwar period between the First World War and the Second World War, the government who controlled where most of the Yeshivas were was making a big effort to crack down Yeshivas and close them down. And they had a lot of Jewish collaborators who would help them to that end. And there was a doctor by the name of Dr. Schorr who started a campaign that the Bachrim and Yeshivas are not healthy. Yeshiva is not healthy for them, they sit too much, they don't exercise, they don't eat properly, and that was going to be his mahalach to convince people to not support the Elam Yeshivas. And he was hosting a meeting with a bunch of doctors to get and discuss this idea that Yeshiva Bachrim are unhealthy. The Chavetz Chaim became aware of this meeting, and the Chavetz Chaim sent a letter to Dr. Schorr. And in it, the Chavetz Chaim told him, first of all, since you're so concerned with the health of the Yeshiva Bachrim, you'd be happy to know that the Bachrim are healthy, they eat well, they get fed 3 meals a day, they get time to exercise, to walk. You'll be happy to know that they're healthy. And then the Chavetz Chaim did a postscript. He said, Nichtav b'tzidai. He says, Bevada, you know this already, but I'm going to remind you anyhow. He says, the pasuk says, Kol hanegeya bahar mois yumas, v'kal v'chaymer b'Torah atzma. Chavetz Chaim gave Dr. Schorr a warning. He says, the pasuk says, Kol hanegeya bahar Har Sinai, mois yumas, kal v'chaymer b'Torah atzma. Now, what the Chavetz Chaim was expressing, and what the mitzvah of Zechiras Maimed Har Sinai is expressing, is that the Torah was given with a bren, with a vibrancy, with a lebedikkeit, the way that it's applicable always. And that's something that the Chavetz Chaim was highlighting to him, that the Yeshivas is keeping going, and that's something that exists always. Now, a maimed like this, on Erev Shavuos, where we're gathering together to be makabel the Torah and to strengthen our commitment to haloi be'esh nitna, and we have the perfect messenger, someone who lives with the Eish HaTorah in a very visible and constant manner, it should all be easy for us to be makabel the Torah with the Eish, with the Rav Shlita.
The Gemara says in Masechta Shabbos that when Klal Yisrael came to be makabel the Torah, the Eibishter took the mountain and took it on top of them and told them, in Mekabel es Torah mutav, if you're going to be Mekabel the Torah mutav, and if not, Shom Te'ei Kvuraschem. There will be your Kvura. We learned all our lives that the har was on top of them, and the har would come down, and they would be buried under the har. In my Lashon Kodesh, that would be Paitei Kvuraschem. Shom Te'ei Kvuraschem means there. So what does that mean, Shom Te'ei Kvuraschem? One question. Tosfos asks a question, for what reason did we need Kafalei Ma'akegigas? Klal Yisrael answered clearly, Nasa v'nishma. They're ready to do and they're ready to hear, Mesiras Nefesh, whatever you'll tell me, I'll do. So what do you need? Kafalei Ma'akegigas. And Tosfos answers, Pen yachzru b'hem beroisam ha'esh ha'gedolah. Maybe there'll be charata when they'll see the Eish HaGedolah. It's contrary to what we would think. The Eish HaGedolah causes fear. Fear. So you'll be afraid to have charata. Yachzuru b'hem b'roisam Eish HaGedolah. The opposite. The Eish HaGedolah will cause such fear, they'll say, yes, we're going to listen. We're not going to listen. So why do you need Kafalei Ma'akegigas? So we'll try to answer these questions and try to discuss a little bit more. What does Kafalei Ma'akegigas mean? Rashi says, Hagigas is a big barrel that you're making it sheikhad, you're making it beer, and was turned over on top of them. Okay, so we took a mushal, a gigis on top of them, and the gigis took them around. So if we realize that there were not only a har on top of them, the har was around them. The har was around them, kigigis. They were inside the gigis, and the gigis surrounded them. That means they were enclosed in a different atmosphere completely. We know the Chofetz Chaim taught us that every invention is made to be mechazik Yiddishkeit. That's what inventions were made for. To learn. The Chofetz Chaim spoke about the telephone. The Chofetz Chaim spoke about a record. Things that you can learn. He didn't have today's inventions. Today's inventions teach us much more. One of the things that today's inventions teach you is that you could go up into space and there's no air, and you can live in a capsule and exist. Why? Because there's different air inside. What is that lesson to a person? What is the gadlus of learning Torah in a Beis Medrash? In today's day and age, a person can say, what do you mean? I'll learn much better at home. First of all, at home, I could listen to a shiur on the computer. And it's such a beautiful shiur. At home, I could relax. Nobody disturbs me. In a Beis Medrash, I can't take the pressure of so many people. Why do I have to go to a Beis Medrash for? And many people don't go to a Beis Medrash and sit at home and learn. There could be a very big taiva in learning at home. I'll bring it out with a story, a chinuch story, a moedik chinuch story. When the Rebbe, the Pnei Menachem, became Rebbe, when he started to be manning the Eidah, on the first day, the people walked by. The whole Olam walked by. There came a younger man with 4 children. A younger man that learned by him. And he told them, by the first 2 you listened to me, by the last 2 you didn't listen to me. What listen? He didn't understand. And the Pnei Menachem told him, you were by me, I was Rosh Yeshiva, you were by me the day of the Chasana, and I told you should learn at home, that they should hear a Kol Torah in the house. The first 2 children you could see grew up in the house of a Kol Torah. The other 2 children, you didn't learn at home anymore, there was no Kol Torah. So there's a Ma'adik Taiva to learning at home. A Kol Torah. That depends on how you learn. You learn with a Kol. The child hears, he wakes up in the morning, he hears his father learning. He goes to sleep at night, he hears his father learning. As a Dova Godel Ad Miyait, the Kol Torah is Mashpia. It says in the Bartanura, in Ovis, Ashrei Yeladetei. Why? Because his mother brought him into Beis Knesset, they should hear the Kol Torah. It's mashpia on children, it's a moyer de gezach. That the Tanai is it has to be learned with a koil. Has to be learned with a gishmak, with a loudness. Hear the koil, wake up in the morning, hear the father learning. There's nothing better than that. But going to Beis Medrash has this moyer de ketova. It says Meiser Ekeach. The Meiser Ekeach was a Rav in Amsterdam in the time of the Gira. If any of you read ever Lehman's book, Avrohom ben Avrohom, you know that Rabbi Elazar Amsterdam was Rav in Amsterdam at the time when the Gira lived. And he wrote a sefer called Meiser Ekeach, a sefer nifla. One of the things it says in the sefer is that Beis HaMedrash is the numerical value of 961 of how many lukim there are in a mikveh, because the Beis Medrash is a mikveh tara. We understand the Gemara. The Gemara says, "Im pogacham menuvel zeh, mashcheyu leBeis Medrash." It doesn't say go learn. It says mashcheyu leBeis HaMedrash. Why? Because the Beis Medrash is a capsule. It's a different atmosphere. A different atmosphere. It's a different environment. The atmosphere in Beis Medrash is different. It maybe depends on what enters the Beis Medrash. I'll say over a story which there'll be people who will deny that it's true, but it's true. After 9/11, the government told the yeshiva here in town to put up barricades in front of the yeshiva to protection. They asked Reb Chaim Knievsky, Zecher Tzadik V'Kodesh Levrach, if they should do it. Reb Chaim said, Torah doesn't need Agona. Huh? Chaim asked if the people in Yeshiva have telephones. They said, yes, no, then it's connected to the outside and there's no protection. That's why they wore barricades. I don't know if the Torah are, but they wore their barricades. Because of this Maisa. So there's a certain Kedusha in the basic Knesset that has to be concealed, separated, its own avir. But that's the mile of a basic Knesset, its own avir, basic Medrash. You come into basic Medrash, you're learning in a different atmosphere. You're learning in the atmosphere of Kedusha. And that's Mashcheu Basic Medrash. That alone has a murdik tova to a person, that he goes into a basic Medrash and learning in a basic Medrash. That's a murdik tova. Kofa Aleim Har means the Eibishter took us into a different atmosphere. And the Eibishter told them, Im atem mekavlim satoira mutiv, ve'im lav shom. You know what shom means? In the outside world, take v'uraschem. Not under a mountain. If you're not going to be able to kabel the Torah to be in your own atmosphere, you're going to realize that shom in the world outside, the world of Olam Hazeh, the world of everything, it'll be kvuraschem. You'll get buried there. So that's the eitzah of a Torah that should be. So the Eibishter said, we have to be kofel emakigigis. Toisa says, pen yachzur and bereisam eisha gedola. If you'll figure out the numerical value of eisha gedola, the numerical value of eisha gedola is Satan. The eisha gedola means the fire of the Satan. The Satan has a murdike koyach of eish. A murdike koyach of eish. I don't have to tell working in the light that there's eish outside. Everybody knows it's brenta fire in the gas. Everybody knows the fire. And if you'll see the fire of the Yetzirah, you'll say, I can't, I have to give in. The Eibishter said, I have to give you a place, a kofel, a makigigis, a mokum where you could go into a different atmosphere and regain your koiches, to be able to say no to the Eisha Gedolah, to be able to see the bluff in the Eisha Gedolah, to be able to see that the Eisha Gedolah really is only a dimion. I said on Lag Baimer by Medura, and it was already 20 minutes later, it was already dying out. And the Eibishter gave me a murdike machshava, only a matana from the Eibishter, not to do with me. Every person has a job, the Eibishter sends him parnasa. Barricades has a job, the Eibishter also sends him parnasa. He gives him what to say. So the Eibishter geschickt a murdike matana. The tachlis of the Medura is not the fire. The tachlis of the Medura is to see the fire burnt like who knows what, and 20 minutes later it's not there. That's to teach you what the Yetzirah is all about. It's a big fire, and 20 minutes later it's no, it's not there, it's finished, it's not there, it's all dimion. It's all dimion. There was a mashgiach in Eretz Yisrael, Ab Godel Eisner. He was a mashgiach in Yeshivas Chodesh Hashem, and Adam Godel had made a murdike koyach of understanding of Bacha. He explained, what does it mean the Yetzirah is a dimion? What does it mean the Yetzirah is a dimion? He said there was a town that was making a show of somebody fighting a lion. They hung up signs. Nobody wanted to come. There was a Yid, only and he had nothing to lose in this life. He had no food, he had nothing. He decided, if I'll go from the world, no. If I have money, I'll come back. He came, and they put him on a suit of a leopard or of a different animal and go inside and fight the lion. Understandably, he came inside, the lion came against him, and he didn't know what to do. The lion also screamed Shema Yisrael. Because it wasn't a lion, it was also a person. Das ist die Yetzirah. Murdik emotion. There lies a nurdik in the kud in the muscle. Then the kud in the muscle is that if you're going to scream Shema Yisrael, the Yetzirah is going to scream also Shema Yisrael. He's going to give in. He's also going to give in. He also knows, if you're going to realize that it's kulei bluff, if you're going to realize he's only dimion, he's going to go in with you. He didn't become part of you, but that's our Veda. How do you see the demionis of the Yetzirah? You see the emes of Torah. The emes of Torah shows you how the Yetzirah is dimion. Torah is nitzchias. The biggest weapon that we have in this world, is the following story that I'm going to tell you. There was a Yid that's missing in today's generation. His name was Rabbi Zriel Tauber. Rabbi Zriel Tauber was a moyerdike mensch. Rabbi Zriel Tauber grew up in Budapest. Budapest existed till 1944. His mother had children in Budapest in the 40s. When the Nazis, Yimach Shmom B'zichram, took them, his mother was Mu'beres. She came into Auschwitz in 1944 on Mu'beres. The only reason she was living is because she was a Mu'beres, and the Risham Yimach Shmom sent her for tests, Kedoima. The child didn't live, but she lived through the war, and that's chus that she was a Mu'beres. Shraitz Rabbi Israel, I asked my mother, how did you have children in the middle of the war? You know there's a war outside, you know they're going to get killed. How did you have children? His mother answered him, it's printed more than once in his Svarim, Pekei Machshava. Yud Gimel Ikrim, it's printed other places. His mother answered him, if it's a tshuva that should never leave your minds. His mother answered him, once I brought down a child to this world, that child is nitzchi. That child is a nitzchiistic child. He's going to get up in Tchis HaMesim, it's nitzchiis. What the Eibishter does with him afterwards is not my problem. I did mine. I brought down nitzchiis to the world. Amuna, but it's a murdik, a limud. A yid is nitzchi. What is the Yetzirah telling us? Nitzchias. He's telling us something that doesn't last more than 5 minutes. He's telling us something that doesn't last more than a few minutes. But you have to remind yourself that you're nitzchi. You have to remember that you're nitzchi. Torah, you learn the Torah Kedosha, which is nitzchias. It gives you to remember who you are. It connects you back. It gives you back the connection to realize that a Yid is nitzchias. And I'm not going to sell my nitzchias for stupidities, for narishkeiten, for elam hazeh, for a few minutes of nothing. That's the avodah of a Yid. That's what Torah does. And befrat Torah and Besmedrish, the connection to an atmosphere of kedusha, an atmosphere of hechikait. That's our avodah. The Taisa says, "Pen yachzru b'em reisam eish hagdoila." There's another pshat. There's a sefer from the Seder Aveda. In the back of the sefer, he writes a pshat that's neira va'oyim. Pen yachzru b'em, when they'll realize what the Eibishter is asking from them, with what kind of fire I want you to be my avodim. With what kind of fire I want you to do after Hashem. They will ask him to listen to the Torah, Nasa and Ishma. But Pen Yachzeru B'rehem, maybe they'll have Charata, B'roisam, and they'll see what fire the Rebbeinu Shalom is asking of them. It's not enough to daven, it's not enough to learn. No, it's a learning that has a fire to it, an Eisha Gedoyla to it. And that's Pen Yachzeru B'hem. Maybe they'll have Charata and the Eibishter force them to that, to Kofalei Makigigus, to realize that you have to accept the Eisha Gedoyla, you have to accept the Torah should be learned with a fire. Torah should be learned with an Eish. The Torah should be learned with a Koch, with a Bren. Torah is fire. It says in the Torah, Eish dos Lamei. It says in the Torah is fire. It's a fire that turns on a fire in a person. It's a fire that cleanses a person, a fire that lights a neshama in a person. The Mishnah says in tomorrow's Perek, in Shabbos Perek, Umachsharta Elias Tzadik. What does it mean, Machsharta Elias Tzadik? In your day, Chelik Beis, there's Hilchas Hechsher Kelim. If you have a keli that has a bliya, if you have a bliya b'chamen, you have to make agola b'chamen. If it has a bliya b'eish, you have to make libun. Libun kal, libun chomer. Dr. Reb Chaim Volozhin and Nefesh HaChaim, machshartoi. Torah is the hechsher kelim. Torah burns out from you everything that went into you. It takes it out with hot. It takes it out with eish. It cleanses a person, Torah. But you have to learn it with eish. You have to turn on the fire. You have to turn on the fire. Torah darf gelernt werden mit a koch, mit a brenn. There was a Magician in Torah Das, Rabbi Simcha Sheps, Zechrein Levracha. He came to America before the war. He was the first one who brought all the brisket Torah to America, all the stencils. He came to Torah Das. He was a Magician in Torah Das. He came to Torah Das the first day. He said, in Mir, where he learned, you couldn't hear yourself. You had to scream. And here it's so quiet. He didn't understand why it's so quiet in Besmedish. Came lunchtime, there was a basketball court outside, and he heard the screaming. He said, oh, here the Besmedish is outside. The chiyus has to be inside, not outside. The eish, the bren, the koch, the living, the bren in Torah, the bren in Yiddishkeit, the bren in davening, that's what's missing. The eish hagdoila. Eish hagdoila. There's no bigger chinuch to a child when he sees a father koching in Torah, bothered by a kasha, asking a kasha, living in Torah, davening with a bren, davening to take a little bit of a koyach in him. That's our avodah when it comes Shavuos, to have a shaykhis to the Eish HaGedolah, to the fire of Torah, to the koch of Torah, to the bren of Torah. That's the biggest shmirah that we have. The bren of Torah burns out the Yetzer Hara. The bren of Torah takes away other fires. It's a hard world, a very hard world. But if we learn Torah in the morning, you learn Torah at night, that gives you the ability to withstand in Nisyonis, to say no to the Yetzer Hara. I'm going to end with a word which I think every person has to carry around with himself. We suffer the most from Yush. The Yetzer Hara is a mumcha in telling us our chesroinus, in telling us we fell through, you're a lost case. You're a lost case. And I want to tell you something that you should use when you talk to children or you talk to teenagers that complain that they did this wrong, they did this wrong. Remember that when you say one time yes, you don't lose the 9 times that you said no. You only said one time yes, but 9 times you said no. Those 9 times that you said no have such a cheshivas by the Eibishter. So don't lose yourself and say, I throw in the towel, I said yes. But 9 times you said no, or 100 times you said no, and then you fell into that yes, go back and say again no. You have so much koich to yourself. You said 99 times no. That no never gets lost. And if you realize that that no never gets lost, you never have despondence, you never have years, because you know what you could build on. You could build on that no that you said no, and that you were misgaber on the Yetzer Hara once and twice and 3 times and 4 times. And that gives you the koich to withstand further and to be able to be gover on the Yetzer Hara.